Mic check at the safe zone. Wisdom in arcade tones. You spit the truth stone stacked on their backbone. Justice at the forefront, change in the rear view. Podcast vibes, live raw, it's what they pursue. Safe talk, voices spark, lighten up the dark. Break the chains, let the pain be the counterpart. Stories that we mix like a DJ's dish. Hopes on high frex, dreams in every pitch. Resource and a throne, mind sharper than stones. Cut through the noise, these seeds steadily grown. Born in shadows, but we talking for days. Injustice met its end, watch it crumble away. Hearts heavy, but the mic stays steady. Fighting through the static, ain't nobody ready. Safe zone crew, young revolutionaries. Spitting futures vivid, blowing out canaries. Talk, voices spark, lighten up the dark. Break the chains, let the pain be the counterpart. Stories that we mix like a DJ's dish. Hopes on high frex, dreams in every pitch. Echoes in the halls where the truth bounces off. Hard topics low key, but the impact strong. System hiccups can't block the signal clear. Youth claiming airtime, no more hiding fears.
Welcome to SafeTalk. Today's episode, we'll explore the journey of self-acceptance, growth, and letting go. From body positivity to breaking free from toxic habits and relationships, we're diving into the struggles and triumphs that shape our identity, especially for young adults and teenagers finding their way through the community. We got a group of young people here from SafeZone. If you guys want to go around and introduce yourselves, let us know where you're from and a little bit about yourself. We'll start right here.
Hey y'all, I'm Niaje. I'm from Southside, Minneapolis. And one thing about myself is that I love to sing.
Hey yo, I'm Cullen from Bloomington. And one thing I'm into is music and sports.
Lamont, I'm from Madison. I like political action directed at young males and the youth society and Gen Z's future.
Sean from Minneapolis, and I like to play video games.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Danetta. I'm from Springfield, Ohio. One thing about me, as y'all know, I am an author. I published my first books, 21-Day Diary of Affirmations for Self-Love. Come check me out in person or on Amazon.
Hi, my name is Peter. I'm from ATL, and I love me some salsa or bachata. I love to shake it up in the dance room. That's me, that's right.
Hi, I'm Mani. I'm from St. Louis, and I like to walk around the lake.
Right away, I want to get back to you, Netta, because you mentioned that you have a book of affirmations.
I do.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about that? Because it ties directly in to what we're talking about today, affirming words, positivity. I feel like body positivity is also ties a lot into your mental and how you appreciate yourself. So explain to us a little bit about this book that you wrote and the reason why you wrote it.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the reason why I wrote it. So I was a woman that struggled with low self-esteem and low self-worth. And so having the mindset of negative self-talk every day, no matter how people was reaffirming me, reassuring me, saying like, well, you are beautiful. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? So throughout my journey, I started to find healthier ways to believe that I am worthy enough. You know, I'm not what the world said about me or
Yes.
make me conditioned to have me to believe about myself. I am what God said. And so I dive deeper into my religion. I started attending Bible study. I started attending church more quite frequently. And I just started surrounding myself with positive people because that plays a significant impact into my journey. And there was one more question. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was you kind of got into both. What made you write it, and but also I guess now that you're asking, I am kind of curious on how it's helped you so far. Now that you're this published author, congratulations!
Thank
But
you.
also just having that medium out there to help people. How has that helped you?
It helped me because I remember on my journey, these affirmations that I published, I was saying those to myself. I am abundant. I am plentiful. I am embracing the moment. I am worthy of love. I am love. I'm not going to say too much, y'all, because y'all
You
can
gotta
purchase
get the
it.
book.
You know what I mean? But you get where I'm going at.
Yep.
You get where I'm going. And so I just started to, affirm myself. But it was a self-discovery journey I had to go on. You know what I mean? And
Nice.
so-
So just let's talk a little bit about understanding what body positivity is. Can anybody give me their example of what they believe body positivity is and what it means to you?
Body positivity, to me, meaning is you're loving yourself unconditionally to where you're confident in every room you step in. No anxiety comes upon the mind to where, oh, I'm not, I don't look good. Or body positivity to me means that I'm confident anywhere, everywhere, and into who I am.
Exactly. Has any of you guys in this room struggled? I mean, of course, you explained your journey, Netta, about your struggle. Who else has struggled with their image and their body or the way they view themselves? Who has struggled with that, and can you explain a little bit of your struggle to us?
I used to struggle with my own body positivity. I didn't used to like my stomach, so I was going to the gym. I'm never felt comfortable putting on a dress or a skirt or showing my legs or anything because I had scars on them. But now that I was because family also was oh, you don't look right, you shouldn't put that dress on. That also kills my spirit and everything.
People around you can convince you that you're not good enough if you start to believe some of the things that they say. Yeah.
And I just started ignoring what they said and just.
How did you feel after that? Liberated?
I felt very much confident that I just stepped out of my comfort zone and just to. So I was I like the dress and the skirts, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on and rock it
Good for you.
and look good in it.
And that's
And Colin, you were finna mention something. You go ahead and step in and let us know what you were going to say.
Sure. I've gone through some self-image issues throughout my recovery, and when I was in treatment, a prayer that really got me through was, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of us have heard that because a lot of us may not have dealt with sobriety or people that are in
I
recovery.
feel that can just relate in any aspect of life.
Exactly.
Really.
I feel like if that was something that people took on without having to go through that struggle of recovery from addiction, if that was just a mantra of people, a lot of people's mindsets of how they navigate through life would be a lot different, because that is a pretty strong prayer. You mentioned through your recovery you had a lot of issues dealing with that. How easy is it, you guys, to fall into that condition that you're not good enough, you don't fit the norm, you don't fit the norm of beauty or what people are?
So incredibly easy. And then there's most people dealing with recovery issues are usually they end up homeless on the streets, and that just brings a whole nother outlook to yourself and how the public sees you. Finding that acceptance that you are where you're at, but knowing that you need to make that change and just finding how to do that, where to start, really.
Exactly. Go ahead.
I love what you just said. it's very easy to fall into that, especially, you know, like social media, where all of us, I'm pretty sure, are on social media. And a lot of people's mindsets, too, and how they were raised. So them projecting that out into the world, projecting negative energy and stuff onto other people for no reason at all. It's easy to fall into that. Like, I don't like your hair, you look this, you look that. It's easy to believe it.
Exactly.
You know, so I found on my journey it's very important to be rooted. You are who you say you are. You know what I mean? And in my religion, I read my Bible, I'm rooted what God says I am. You know, so it's very important to be rooted, to be affirmed. If you're religious, if you, you know, just be rooted in the Bible, if you're spiritual, positive affirmations, whatever that look like to you.
I have a question for you, actually.
Go ahead.
Someone who comes from this perspective, from outside faith, how do you believe the church community or the activity of finding a more positive focused community helped you with your recovery? Because I've noticed that since I'm out of the church, a lot of people have a less spiritual outlook or less spiritual awareness in their lives day to day, and it, to me, makes them seem very materialistic and harder to be satisfied in life without that concept of, there's a God who's okay with me. They have to be okay with the car, they have to be okay with the clothes, they have to be okay with the house before they can be okay with themselves. I've personally seen that a lot. I'm wondering if more in the church community, that's less.
And I get that. I felt the same way, and I felt that way more when I was in the church community, and just based on just how everyone in the church would look at me and judge, and it led me to the point where it's less of a religion thing and more of a, you know, it's just between, you know, you and your God, really. So just what helped me was getting out in nature, you know, getting active, finding an outlet to connect with your religion, and that really helps because it's really an individual thing.
It is. I will say, like, with me, since I'm involved in my church, I block it out. I block the noise. And that's a really critical thing that you have to learn on your self-discovery journey, is blocking out the noise, blocking out that negative energy. You know, it happens everywhere, even in church. You know, it's real.
And you know what? You just said something that was so beautiful. You gave some advice that is easy to give, but harder for that individual to apply to themselves. But you made it a point to state that it's something that you're going to have to discover or find on your own, the strength to block out the negative energy, because it's not as easy to do for some than it is for others that have worked on having to do that or have took the steps. Like, it's easier at first, but I'm not all the way there. But now I've reached the point where these communications from outside sources mean nothing to where I'm at with my journey. And that's something I want to stress does take some time to kind of learn on your own. Like, how comfortable am I with myself, where things that people say to me, no matter how hurtful they may sound, it doesn't affect me on my journey because I know where I'm at and I'm comfortable with where I'm at. That's beautiful how you said that it's something that everyone has to learn on their own, because it really is something that you got to discover on your own. I had another question, though, I wanted to ask the group. It goes a little bit back to what you were saying with not feeling comfortable with what you wear or how your stomach or anything looks. How healthy or unhealthy can that be, where if you notice something about yourself that you're uncomfortable with, you want to work on it? Because you did mention your stomach made you want to go to the gym or things like that. How healthy or unhealthy can it be to notice something and want to actively change that part about you to make yourself feel better?
I believe it depends on the level of what you're trying to change in yourself, because you still were gifted a body. Your body is your body, and it is perfectly in tune to you. It doesn't have to look like everybody else's. And I feel like I have been off social media for 7 years now. Greatest decision I've ever made in my life. I have noticed that, especially when I do interact, it is becoming a lot more drug-induced appearance, whether it be people taking Ozempic to lose weight, people taking TRT to gain weight, people taking creatine to gain weight. It is now, your body is no longer enough to achieve your end goal, and I believe that is a very toxic society perspective to have. Your body is not meant to look like the person on TV. Your body's meant to look like yours. Some people have short femurs. Some people have long femurs. Some people got wide hips. Some people got narrow hips. Some people got big hands. Some people got small hands. I don't think those Like, I've seen comments where it's like, oh, your hands look so tiny holding the phone. Never saw their hand in the phone in picture again. Right? It's little things like that people say online that can damage people's perspective that I find to be the harmful aspect of body positivity, where it is, I am positive when I get a like. I'm positive when I get a comment. I'm positive when I get a smile. Yo, be positive when you look in the mirror. It's the hardest place to look. The hardest place to look is in the mirror.
And you mentioned the ways that could actually potentially harm you when it comes to changing your, physical appearance, when it comes to drugs or any of those type of unnatural substances that your body wouldn't have used to achieve whatever physical look that you're going for, whether it be weight loss, whether it be bulking up your muscle, whatever it might be. Those are ways that your body wouldn't have naturally gained that, the progress that you were looking for. And that could be an unhealthy aspect.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, how clear are we that changes that you feel like you can make for yourself in a healthy way are just as normal? It's a normal way to feel and navigate through life. I want to say there's a gray area where it comes to, self-hate or motivating yourself to have a better end result or a goal that you might set for yourself. There's a gray area for that, because the thin line between hating how you look or knowing that you want to do work on yourself in a positive way. Does anybody struggle with that?
I want to add something real quick.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say that when it comes down to, body positivity, like for me, for sure, I had unhealthy ways and I also had healthy ways to navigate around it. But also, adding to what Lamont has said, is more so the influences. One thing I used to think about how I would look when I got older, like how would my body look. And then, once social media comes upon, it's like, damn, I kind of want to look like that. Mm-hmm. And then at a time, it's like I used to be like 180 to 200 pounds. And I used to hate myself. Like, I used to think I was so ugly. I used to think I couldn't do nothing. Like, I felt depressed in a way. It's like I didn't even like how I looked in the mirror. I didn't want to look at myself.
Were there people in your life reaffirming you that you were good enough, or were there people in your life that were low-key beating you down?
Both.
Making you believe it? Okay.
Both. My dad plays a big factor in uplifting me. My dad would text me every day, almost call me every day, too. You are beautiful. Good morning. You are a beautiful daughter of mine. And then you have those one family members like, oh, I don't like this, and why are you doing that to your hair? And then it's like, I'm posting pictures I'm over here posting pictures on social media, and my family calling my sister about take that post down. What if that post make me feel good about myself? Y'all don't know what I'm going through at the end of the day. What if that makes me feel better about who I am and how I look? Which it did. Just for them to tell me, oh, you have to delete that. I'm only 17 years old, bro. Why can't I post this? This is mine. This is my body. What if I just want to show it off because I feel ugly right now? But then that's the unhealthy part of it. But once it comes healthy, it's different. It's a whole different confidence, like Monty said. It's a whole different confidence. Like, I actually want to put on a dress. Mm-hmm. I actually want to look like a little girl. I used to love looking like a little boy, for real. I never cared if people would mistake me as a little boy.
I definitely feel that aspect of not being seen the way you want to. There are times that I paint my nails. I do that because I'm a very expressive person, and I feel like I can come off as intimidating to some people, and I don't want that to be my first impression. Instead of being out in the New York fit, puffer coat, shiesty on, hat on, dreads out, I'll have my dreads tied up in pigtails. I'll have my nails painted, and I'll have my art book on me. So people understand that while I might intimidating posture or an intimidating presence, I'm still a very expressive, and I'm still a very, I want to say intimate, but personal person.
Being authentic to yourself.
Exactly.
That's real.
It is sometimes hard to breach people's initial impression, the book cover read, than it is to actually get across my personality to others. Because I also admit I come off very divisive. Mm-hmm. So it is just little things like that I realize that for me, I don't care what you say about it. Now you're saying something to me about it. Now we have a conversation going. Now I can explain, I can show myself to people without having to always worry about intimidating people or coming across as aggressive, because I oftentimes do.
I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, because this is important when it comes to body positivity, how much you feel like you will make an impression on other people and how important that impression is to you, and how that may get in the way of you fully expressing yourself physically the way you want to, because there is that little thought in the back of your mind, am I going to come off as intimidating, or by painting my nails, am I going to draw the wrong type of attention to the wrong people and create those misunderstandings that I got to keep explaining myself in a stereotype somebody might have of me? How much does that affect how you guys on a day-to-day want to present yourself to the public, with all that worry about what people are going to say about you, talk about you, judge you? Does that come into play when you are getting ready for the day and want to put yourself out there with how you really feel and how you want to express yourself?
So when I was younger, I had a lot of problems with like positivity for myself because I was in a really, really difficult kind of category as an LGBT black man. And when I really stepped out into my comfort zone, I actually put on more of a feminine type of look and stuff like that, and it really allowed me to boost my confidence from 0 to 100. Like, I started to really embody my confidence and move through the world like I want to, instead of how other people need me to because of their insecurities and stuff like that.
That's what
and
it is.
I don't like hearing that from other people because, like, honestly, that just shows how like disgusting and powerful like you don't feel on the inside. And so when it comes to body positivity, I feel like you need to do what you need to do in order to make ends meet. Don't care about what other people think, because in the back of your mind, like, everyone has like, different problems in different areas of the way they feel like they need to present their body in this lifetime. But we were given a body. We can do whatever we please to make sure that we need to look good for ourselves.
Exactly.
Like, whether that be doing like different types of things. It's all a lesson at the end of the day. We're all learning karmic lessons for our soul and stuff like that.
And
so
as well.
as humans and stuff like that, we can change and develop and grow in ways that people might see as disgusting to them, but to us, we deserve to be seen as our greatest selves.
Exactly. Can I add? I would love to ask what you just said, Peter, because you said karmic lessons. I would love to add on to that specifically because I'm not going to say too much, but I would love to add to that because there was a time in my life where I had a karmic lesson to where I was getting bad attention, and not all attention is good attention. And I learned that you can't really say late time, but I learned that in my life. And once I learned that, it made me feel like a little ick. But at the end of the day, that was my karmic lesson, you feel me? And I learned from it, and now I've grown from it to where now my first impression when it comes down to what I show on social media or who I show to people is me being authentic to myself regardless of the matter, because how I express myself, that's who I am. That's me being authentic to myself. All my karmic lessons has helped me be the positive person that I am today, to where all those karmic lessons, when it comes down to not loving myself, not liking my body, or any of that sort, I'm hurting my body. I'm just smoking to lose weight. That's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? I learned those ways to maneuver to where I got to stop this.
How do you identify some of the behaviors that might hold you back with your journey through your body positivity?
Sometimes you need somebody to just sit in your face and tell you you gotta chill.
Yeah.
I have to convince myself to do it.
So, with me, I think about a lot of negative self-talk.
That's what I was getting ready to get to.
Some of the behaviors that starts you on the downward path to not believing that you're good enough or beautiful or anything.
Behind me, boy.
A lot of it comes from the self-talk. A lot of us talk ourselves into believing that we're ugly or believing that our body isn't good enough. Like, what are some other behaviors that we do that are unhealthy when it comes to how we perceive or present ourselves?
Look at other people.
unhealthy coping mechanisms can sometimes be the only way our brain processes strong emotions.
Explain it.
Or traumatic situations, to be honest.
Dive into that. I want to know what you mean by that.
Okay, because I wrote that down on my notes earlier just to let you guys know, because that's something that I had brought up for myself. Because honestly, like, that's just a part of our experience. Like, having negative thoughts is always going to be something that comes up within our identity. Positivity is not always something that's going to be there for you all the time.
True.
And when negativity does show up, you need to be able to process it in a type of way where you can give yourself an outlet enough to where it's going to bring you back to that positive energy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, clock it. Because not only do we have the power to be negative, we have the power to be positive. So light and dark intertwine into the one human experience. You know what I'm saying?
Good isn't good without that. That was beautiful. And to elaborate a little bit on that, when you have that negativity and you have that thought, it's natural. It's natural to not be satisfied with something if in your mind it's not good enough. What's unhealthy is when you start to live in that belief, you start to become what you think is bad about yourself.
The power
instead
of the tongue.
Being proactive in changing behaviors or changing habits that might make you a better or more healthier person in the future.
I do want to add to that. What else is unhealthy is not processing that emotion. That's what I learned throughout my years, because I used to pretend that like I wasn't struggling with that, and it would show up in unexpected ways. When I was interacting with people, I would blow up, you know, and it was just happening like that. And I was losing relationships, really profound, strong relationships. And so I had to check myself. I'm pointing the finger at one person, but three is coming back at me. So I had to check myself. And so that pushed me into my spiritual journey. You know, I had to isolate myself. I had to work within, see what was wrong. Girl, let that out. And that's because I spent so much time always being positive and not, you know, there's a positive and negative side. You know, like you just said, it's a balance. It's a duality. You know, not everyone is positive every single day. No, people are human. Let people deal with their emotions. Let people deal with the negative emotions.
Because it's real. It exists.
Yeah,
so you gotta let them process it.
Yeah, let them sit with it. It is okay to sit with that negative emotion. Don't sit there too long, because that's when you're going to start believing that.
So yeah, like she said, processing the emotions can be difficult. Like Dimani, she had mentioned that having a negative family experience didn't allow her to process the emotions that were necessary for her like body positivity growth. And I feel like walking on eggshells with family members can be so terrible for your body positivity. Like, it is very difficult to have, you know, toxic family members and then come back to your body, because it's just like a part of who you are. It's a part of how you grew up. But those toxic challenges are going to necessarily like hinder you. They're going to shape you. And once you come out of that, it's going to be a stronger body positivity mindset.
So, but you do, I mean, and not to be the advocate of that, or not to be the devil's advocate of that, but a lot of that is challenging. And a lot of that's going to take work. A lot of people don't have it in them to overcome that. That breaks a lot of people. Understanding it is the first step of overcoming it, because a lot of people live with the belief that the things that these people are saying to them is their true self. And then that's how they live their life, believing that they're not good enough, or they're not presentable, they're not attractive, and they're just not good enough.
And that's a lie.
I would love to add on what Danetta said when it comes down to processing things. I love that you just spoke on that, for real.
For real.
Because of the simple fact, like, I learned that, when I learned that, it was hard. Yeah. It was so hard. In this moment, I'm talking about grief at the moment. I have other people around me in the same moment of grief. And it's like, it's hard to process things in the midst of trying to help somebody else process things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, I don't have time to even sit in my emotions just yet, because I got to tend to you, I got to tend to you, and I got to tend to me. Yeah. And it's like, that's a lot to really sit in, and it takes a lot of time. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I had to realize that. And it took me a long time to really get over that and actually process it the healthy way, and not just like you said, lashing out on everybody. And honestly, I've been working on that myself recently, and it's hard, bro. And it's so hard. I just want to be that living proof of it's really change is uncomfortable, but change is mandatory and it's needed, and it's gonna make you successful at the end of the day. And whether it's on your self journey, whether it's on your body positivity journey, whether it's whatever the case may be.
I liked how you were talking about family impact, friends, family, your support system. I kind of want to talk about recognizing and realizing the toxic people in our life that can contribute to how we think of ourselves. Can we talk about how we can spot an unhealthy relationship?
As I dive deeper into my spiritual journey, my self-discovery journey, I am a lot of my friends I was friends with last year, I'm no longer friends with. Mm-hmm. Just the other day, me and my friend came to an agreement where our relationship had to end, and I cried. I really cried, and that was grief, and that's okay, you know, and I had to tell myself, you're all right. After letting that person go, I ended up getting a blessing out of that. So it's making room for what's coming to you. I also had to talk to my aunt. Once again, this was my final straw. It was just my final straw. I saw a little projection. I felt like some words, some topics she could have reframed, but it came off critical. Mm-hmm. And if you reframed it better, I would have received it better. I'm in a point in my life, I can't hear none of that. You guys see me in this space, as soon as I hear loudness, I run off.
You remove yourself.
Yeah, I can't be in those type of environments. I can't have no one being around me like that. That's going to draw me back into my past.
Right.
And I came too far to let anybody bring me back.
That's perfect, because that also goes along with another thing I wanted to bring up is your boundaries. Now, you should set boundaries for yourself at all times, healthy boundaries, where you surround yourself with things that you accept and you release the things that you do not accept. Yeah. And that's perfectly healthy, but also really good advice for others, that you are so strong on surrounding yourself with the energy that you need and getting away from the energy that you feel like you don't need. Because that's a boundary that I feel like is healthy for you. Everybody's boundaries are going to be different.
Okay, so first and foremost, I had to set a boundary with myself, because oftentimes, what I learned, if you don't set a boundary with yourself first, how are you going to have people to meet your needs? Mm-hmm. So, and that, like, coming from a place of being a people pleaser, that sets a war inside your spirit where you're ready to snap on any and everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's very important on this journey to hold yourself accountable, number one. You know, if you're saying that you're going to wake up tomorrow and go to the gym, do that. Mm-hmm. Those are small steps that will help you. And that built up my confidence to speak on how I feel, the assertiveness. It eventually came, you know. What I realized, too, what was I afraid of?
Facts.
Why am I afraid to tell someone how I feel?
Our fear of not being accepted in a specific circle or with a specific group of people, we hold that we put so much value on that. I feel like it's unnecessary value that we put on that. Yeah. I feel like we don't put enough value on how we hold ourselves, as opposed to the value that we feel like we have with other people, and that can hold us back on our own personal journeys, because we're pleasing others, and we want to literally live our lives to this standard that others has set for us, and that could be a really unhealthy way of going about life.
Wingardium Leviosa.
What?
Because I feel like that's how my emotions disappear and float away when I try to confront someone about something that they've done and the boundaries that I set with them. But unfortunately, people do not have the respect for themselves to create enough energy to bring in their own boundaries to other people's settings. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And you know what? I've seen that a lot with people. I feel like I have a very unique type of, existence and stuff like that. And when others approach me and define myself and my existence as disgusting or so-called awful to the community, it just shows me how disrespectful you are to yourself, because you would never do that to somebody who actually enjoys their love and their own presence and stuff like that, like I do. It's taken so long for me to cultivate that type of energy for myself, and I would never let no man, no woman, no other entity of this dimension to ever come from my energy.
What are some steps to building a stronger and healthier identity for yourself? Just let's start naming some things.
Surround yourself with mission-focused people.
Mission-focused people.
Put yourself in an environment with people who have the same goals as you, who want to make similar self-growth, only surround yourself with people who bring you up, not bring you down.
And you guys know I'm always preaching about your friend groups here, especially in a setting like SafeZone where it's a big pool of social interactions, and we are from different walks of life. Your friend group is important, because let's just say you're working on this goal, but your friends are all stuck in one pattern. It's going to be hard for you to focus on your goal when your support group and your friends are all focused on something completely different. So y'all know how much I preach about your friend groups or your circles here in this environment, because they kind of do help you navigate your next move, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people can help you or hurt you depending on where your mind's at. So yeah, that's very important, surrounding yourself with mission-focused people. That's a really good way to put it.
I would love to say discernment it plays a great part in that, because some people could put on a great front and they could act like they're your bestest friend ever, and then they not.
That comes with time too. The more you're on your self-discovery journey and you're learning yourself, and I'm not going to dig too much, but you eventually will see it,
You evaluate. I feel like it's a healthy practice to evaluate the people in your life regularly.
I feel like a big part of that is when it comes to principles. I do not hold anyone to a principle I don't hold myself. So the conduct that I expect myself personally, whether it be mentally in my thought process or vocally in my speech process, I expect of my friends. I understand that it might be fun to be online, call people names. We don't refer to people like that in person. I prefer that, actually. If we're playing games together, you don't speak like that, period. Because I don't condone that conduct. I don't partake in that conduct. Part of being mission-focused is having those small standards. So I see you police your own speech, where I know where you might have this thought, and as a joke, you'll say it as a whisper to me and never louder than that. I respect that, because I understand that you have the principle to get to the goal, and I don't care how you get there. I've learned this through business transactions. The hardest thing to do is worry about your path. Not my personal path, the other person's path. It is so hard to think what they're going to do to get there. No. What you need is someone who we both want to go to the same place. We're going to get there. I'll see you Tuesday. I'll see you Wednesday. I might not see you the whole month, but I know when I do, we can give what we've been doing to get there. Those principles, I believe, start with speech, start with stance, even small things. I wouldn't say dress, but as in, how do you carry demeanor? Do you smile at people? Do you think to make sure that you're welcoming to people to interact with? Because especially in business relationships, those are very important. And so those minute principles that I hold myself to, when I see them being carried out as someone else, it's very easy to be like, we have a goal. Let's make it a small goal. And each week, keep each other there. Those kind of principles are what make and can help you discern people to be around. Because I saw goal-oriented people in high school. They were weird, and I didn't like them because they weren't fun. However, they all have nicer cars than me now.
We all mentioned something about social media, and I feel like there's a lot of people who are very accelerated in their material wealth on social media, and I feel like that plays a really big role in a lot of the self-confidence and body positivity type of aspect.
A huge role.
It's, but you know what I want to tell you guys? We are right where we're supposed to be. And, there is no other reason why God doesn't have us here in this room today.
That part.
So, honestly, your path is your own journey. And if you feel like you need to compare to other people to get that type of confidence off of like the insecurities that you have just goes to show you that you are not confident in your own journey.
We gotta love ourselves.
Comparison is the thief of joy, y'all. Y'all cannot believe what people put out, project out. There's some people that's authentic and true to themselves, and there's other people that pretend there's wolves in sheep clothing. So it's just stay true to yourself. Be honest with yourself. It is all right, you know. Everyone is striving to be the best version of themselves.
Let's end this with some advice you might give somebody dealing with their image, how they perceive themselves, how they look, and how they feel. Let's just shoot out some advice that you would give somebody dealing with that.
I feel like the best thing that you can do for your body is get what you want out of it. Stop playing with yourself. Stop downplaying your emotions and let your fire burn.
All I can say is change is uncomfortable, but it's needed. Step out your comfort zone. The tongue is the most powerful thing that we have. Our brains is the most powerful thing that we have as well. And also know that it is okay to not be okay.
Hey, before we go, can you please share one of your affirmations from your book, Danetta?
Yeah. I am going to share the last day, which is day 21, and I would love for my peers to repeat after me. I am destined for greatness. I will be successful.
I am destined for greatness and I will be successful.
Y'all, I know I'm destined for greatness in my life. My life is what I make it now. I have the power within through God to manifest what I desire. The tools I have within will help me manage my blessings. I'm going to be so successful, and so are you. I can't wait to see you walk into your destiny. As I'm stepping into my destiny, I am encouraging you to step into yours, sis. Remember this, when you keep praising God, the blessings will shower upon your life.
Amen.
And so I have a little, I am destined for greatness. Yes, Queen, you have the power and control within you. Anything you put your mind to is yours. With your higher self and dedication, it is your birthright to have everything you desire in this lifetime. And so it's a journal. It says in this space below, where do you see yourself? Envision it in your mind, have a mustard seed of faith, and act on it.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's something for everybody to sit and think about. Letting go isn't easy, but growth comes from making space for what truly serves us. Whether it's learning to love ourselves, breaking free from bad habits, surrounding ourselves with the right people, every step counts. Thank y'all for joining this conversation. Stay true, stay strong, and keep moving forward. Give yourselves a round of applause. This was a really good podcast this week.